Alrighty, Sixers fans, the NBA offseason has officially begun. So last week on Thursday, the Golden State Warriors did defeat the Boston Celtics in Game 6 to win the NBA Finals. So congratulations to the Warriors. Congrats to Steph Curry for officially entering the LeBron, MJ, Kobe tier with 4 rings. And I apologize, my voice sounds a little stuffy, but I've been dealing with a sore throat. I hope it's not bothering you much, but I apologize for that. But I'm still going to do this anyway. So, yep, Sixers fans, we got some stuff to talk about now that it is the NBA offseason. Okay, so there's a couple things I'm going to talk about right here. First thing I want to talk about, rumors started to speculate late last night from Bleacher Report and Sixers Wire that the Sixers might be interested in trading Matisse Thybulle and the 23rd pick for a win-now package. Well, I'm just going to get right to it. Okay, anything that comes from the Bleacher Report, I'm not going to take that seriously. If it's not coming from a credible source, I'm not going to take it serious and buy into it. Because this, they have a history of just coming up with random speculation reports. So, and we haven't heard anything confirmed from Daryl Morey, Matisse's agent, or any of that in regards to a possible trade being made. Now, is it possible they could trade Matisse Thybulle? Yeah, certainly a possibility. But at this point, there's no package. There's no trade package in place for that to happen at the moment. So all we're hearing is talk that they could try to make a trade. And you know how the Bleacher Report is. They love to just stir the pot, so to say, and just come up with random rumors and put stuff out there to get people talking, draw some attention to their brand. They're like the TMZ of sports, basically. So I'm not going to take what they say seriously and buy into it. I mean, could it happen? I mean, maybe. But really ask yourself, here's why it's hard to really believe, because what package is there in place right now? Especially with this being a heavy free agency class, there's numerous options the Sixers could be going to look at in free agency, which I'll get to that part in a little bit. With all these different options out there in free agency, because I even pulled up on my screen, I'll put the link to it in the description, but you got a whole list of the NBA free agents going on right here. Because you got Harden, Westbrook, Beal, Kyrie, Gary Harris, Zach LaVine, Ricky Rubio, Iguodala, Thaddeus Young, Joe Ingles, Tyron Prince, TJ Warren, Jeremy Lamb, DeAndre Ayton, and just so on and so forth. Marvin Bagley III. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. Patrick Mills. But I put the link to that in the description box. You want to check out the list for yourself. And there's a ton of people available in free agency. And there's one particular player I would like them to go after. But the point being is, with all those free agents available, it's hard to really find like a win now trade package that could work for that. I mean, so yeah, that's why I have a hard time buying into it. Besides the fact that it's a Bleacher Report, the fact that there's more win now options in free agency than there is through a trade. So, I mean, the only way I could see them really pulling off a trade there is to try to get a good bench guy, a good role player, and then try to sign a win now guy like a Bradley Beal in free agency. That's what I see being the most realistic scenario where something like that could occur with the Matisse Thybulle and the 23rd pick trade. So I'm not really buying into it because, rumors are rumors. And yeah, that's all I'm going to say about that one right there. Now I'm going to talk about something else going on with Daryl Morey. I'm going to change the background for a second. So I created a custom background. And last night, I tuned in to Mitch Kovsky, MK. He was doing a live stream with his list of top 32 quarterbacks. He had some other guests on there as well. And during his live stream, he had said something. He brought up the fact that the Sixers might be interested in Eric Gordon, PJ Tucker. And he's just thinking, I might as well call them the Philadelphia Rockets. And then also, shout out to Greg Melly, Sixers content creator, because he tweeted earlier today something similar, that you might as well just call them the Philadelphia Rockets. And that created the inspiration for the background I have right there. So that right there, that's the background I created right there. And hence in the title, Daryl Morey trying to create Philadelphia Rockets, ? Because now, with Eric Gordon and PJ Tucker, it looks like Daryl Morey's interested in signing both. And it looks like Daryl Morey could also be interested in give Harden a 2-year contract, extending him for 2 years. So If that were to happen, you get James Harden extended for 2 years, PJ Tucker, and Eric Gordon all on the Philadelphia 76ers is what could possibly be happening here. But if that were to happen, what do all three of those guys have in common? What do they have in common? Come on, think about it. What do they have in common, viewers? Okay, I'm sure some of you have figured it out by now. And the answer is that they were all part of the Houston Rockets at some point during Daryl Morey's run. So it looks like, yeah, that's why now we're talking with the Philadelphia. It looks like he's trying to turn this into Houston Rockets Part 2. Now, I hope that isn't actually the case. I hope it doesn't go that way. But why would Daryl Morey try to do that, turn this basically into the Philadelphia 76ers version of the Houston Rockets, or Houston Rockets Part 2? We saw as Houston Rockets run ended, yeah, they always had good regular seasons for the most part, but they always fell short when it mattered most. So you really wants to bring in a bunch of guys from that run and try to get this different outcome, get a championship this time when he brought in those guys last. He worked with those guys before, and all it got him was close but no cigar. Is that really what Daryl Morey wants to do here? And we saw Daryl Morey during the 2014 offseason. Who was it again what was it? Remember the 2014 offseason when he let Chandler Parsons become an unrestricted free agent instead of picking him up for one more year when he could have added some depth at 2014-2015 Rockets? And remember Daryl Morey, I think prior to that, said he felt Parsons along with Harden and Howard would help be the pieces to get them to the championship, but he let Chandler Parsons walk in 2014 free agency. You remember that? That was one example of a stupid move by Daryl Morey that ultimately showed that, look, Daryl Morey was able to put together a good roster for the regular season, but he wasn't able to put together a championship run. And they would trust that guy, right? Now that guy wants to go back to what he did in Houston and expect a different outcome? If this is true, then that's ridiculous. We should not be trying to recreate the Houston Rockets run of the second half of the 2010s. Because ultimately they never got over the hump. What makes you think trying to recreate that's going to get a different outcome if that's the direction the Sixers going? You're talking about James Harden, who honestly is on the wrong side of his 30s. Yes, we were excited at first because we knew it was an upgrade over Ben Simmons. But is he really the guy that's going to help us get to the championship mountain at this point? I have my doubts about that. I mean, yes, I get that only Eric Gordon, PJ Tucker. People say, hey, they're only depth pieces. They're better than some of the other options out there. And yes, they are. They're not the worst options in the world. But if you go that route, it seems like way too hard to try to recreate, again, the Houston Rockets culture. You can say, oh, well, it's different because we have Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey. Yes, we do. But we saw that those guys alone could not get the Sixers to the finals, period. So what makes think trying to retake that in elements of what he did at the Houston Rockets that didn't create a championship run, basically combining pieces that are there currently that are their best pieces, that hasn't quite been good enough to produce a championship run, adding pieces for his previous regime that didn't produce a championship run. What makes you think that's going to produce a championship run? Ask yourself this question. That doesn't make any sense right there. So I hope that's not the direction they're going in. I mean, obviously they need some bench guys, yes. All these bench guys are, replaceable, but when you're trying, it seems like he's trying hard to recreate the Houston Rockets, which that's not going to work right there. That's just a bad way to go about it. He's got to try to come up with a better approach than that. I mean, I know he's familiar with those guys, but if you're really serious about bringing in a championship run, that's not the way to go about it, though. I mean, obviously, and I did take a previous video about the Sixers possibly trading for Bradley Beal. I got to make a correction about that video because Beal is a free agent. But as far as free agency, the big move you want to go for if you're the Sixers, try to get Bradley Beal into Philadelphia and get him in the fold. I mean, that's the big move if you want to make a big move in free agency. And Russell Westbrook, you definitely don't want to go with him. I mean, I hope Daryl Morey at least has enough sense to realize, okay, we tried this before. It didn't work out there, so I'm not going to try it again. I mean, so obviously that won't work. I mean, maybe there are some guys we could get in. Honestly, backup centers replaceable. We could get, let's see, like, because I got the list of free agents here. We could maybe get Sergei Ibaka in as a backup center, fill that role. We could get Jusuf Nurkic. Those are some guys we could get for depth pieces in free agency. Who else? We could get Marvin Bagley possibly as a depth piece. I mean, there's a whole list of guys right there. If you want to check it out for your, maybe Javal McGee or Robin Lopez possibly, or maybe Avery Bradley. I mean, these could be depth pieces we could sign. I mean, there's a whole list of them right there. Again, the link to that is in the description box. You want to read it yourself and decide who you would like as depth pieces. Maybe the return of Iguodala. I mean, you guys can decide for yourselves. Let me know in the comment section who you think the Sixers should sign as free agencies. If you don't agree with the idea that they should bring in Eric Gordon, PJ Tucker, and basically try to create the Philadelphia Rockets. And that's all I'm really going to say for this one right there. So I definitely think we got to go after Bradley Beal. I mean, there's a whole list of guys that we could go after. I mean, I just named off some guys that stood out right there as possible options. You guys let me know in the comment section, who do you think the Sixers should go after in free agency? And do you think that this Matisse Thybulle 23rd pick has any credibility to it? And if so, who do you think they could trade those for? You guys let me know in the comment section how you feel about this. First of all, make sure to have a wonderful day or night. Make sure, feel free to drop a like, subscribe if you're new. Like I said, leave a comment. Let me know about the subjects I talked about, what your take is. And also have a wonderful day or night. Nicky Steve signing off, and I'll see you next time.